Cubs lose 2 out of 3 to the Rockies, but Isaac Paredes is heating up.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show and making us your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day, like the video, and comment anything below. Today's episode is presented by our great partner at Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB to win $50 instantly when you play $5. Later in the show, we'll do a full recap of Cubs Rockies as the Northsiders do drop the series out in the Mile High City. Cubs only have 13 games left on the season. Isaac Paredes is doing better recently, and that is an encouraging sign with 2025 in mind, especially. The Cubs shocked the baseball world in late July when they traded Christopher Morel to the Rays for Paredes, who hit 67 home runs since 2022, showed he could play third every day, was even named an All-Star just a few weeks before that trade. Sam, Paredes was hitting only 162 in a Cubs uniform, but over the last 7 games, he is 11 for 25 with 5 walks and 5 runs batted in. What have you seen from him that are good signs, and how do you view his importance next year?
Results is what I've seen. You know, I mean, his at-bats, I think when he was really struggling, were still fine. He works at bats. He just wasn't getting results. I mean, he's such a kind of a unicorn hitter in the sense that, I mean, he pulls everything. I mean, the foul balls. I mean, when Scott, my cousin, was at the game, I mean, he couldn't get over where these foul balls would land. I mean, he's hitting the ball directly to the left behind him. And then, you know, he works counts, he takes walks, and, you know, he's not going to be a guy. He doesn't hit the ball a lot alley to alley. He doesn't hit many home runs alley to alley. The power hasn't come yet, but it's been a major step in the right direction for him, and he even said so. He even said so a couple of days ago. He's starting to feel like himself again in an interview. So I think it's been a really nice sign. I think it's one of the more important things. I mean, Matt Shaw right now is
he's hot.
One of the hottest hitters in the land. And, you know, they're going to have to find a place for this young man next season. Okay. And they're going to have to do it probably early. And so,
like March 18th early?
No, but by May. At the latest, May
1st.
Yeah. And so they're going to have to figure out what to do. And I firmly believe that Nico Hoerner and Isaac Paredes are going to kind of be in a competition because
Horner's gone.
Yeah, neither one of those guys is you know, Matt Shaw's not going to be blocked by those guys. One of them's going to go, I think, or at least not play a lot. And so, you know, Paredes is a guy, he's comfortable at third. I think the defense has been okay, not great, but he's starting to hit and he's starting to look comfortable. The big thing for Isaac is going to be Wrigley Field, because even though this year has been a little bit fluky with the weather, even so, it's not a good place for him to hit. Deep corners. We talked about this in the trade. If he could just get himself to average at Wrigley, he's looked like a very solid hitter, like a lot of guys. We're going to talk about Michael Busch this week, who blasted out of a funk. So many of these players look so comfortable away from Wrigley Field. That's going to have to change next year. But as far as Paredes is concerned, you know, I like what I see. This is more the guy I thought we were going to get. Work deep counts, get some clutch hits, you know, try and walk close to as much as you strike out and get results. And we've seen that here for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, with the 2025 glasses again back firmly on, especially after the first 2 games of this series, I'm starting to do some more digging on the 2025 campaign. Let me just give you a quick example right now. You know, with the Cubs opening March 18th, Cubs Dodgers ahead of everybody else. Their spring training reporting date is before everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's going to be before Valentine's Day. That's right around the corner. So, but I had a trade idea this weekend. I am going to save that for October.
I got one.
Tease, but it's a Horner and a certain player going west.
Is it to Seattle?
Yeah.
Mine too.
Horner and a certain outfielder.
Mine too.
To Seattle for a pitcher, a 2-for-1 deal.
Is it Horner? I'll tell you right now, mine.
Right now, we could just dive in about 1 month's time.
All right, so I just wonder if it's the same thing.
It's Suzuki and Horner to Seattle for one of the starting pitchers.
Oh, no, I'm not trading Suzuki. No.
Okay. Well, I think that's one of the only two places he would waive his clause.
Mine was Horner, Alcantara, and maybe another guy for George Kirby.
Got it.
Pretty close. You really would want to trade Suzuki?
It's not necessarily that I want to trade him, but they need to make appropriate changes in order to get better for next year. And I think that's one of the few places he would waive his no trade clause too. So you package him with Horner, who is as good as gone for next year, and you get a starting pitcher who's under control through at least 27.
And you don't think they could get that for they could keep their 2024's best hitter on the team? Maybe it's an Alcantara, Triantos. I don't know if I want to trade, Suzuki, especially with the challenge system. If they can get the challenge system, that might take him to another level.
All right. Well, we'll have plenty of time to talk about that because the season's over 2 weeks from today.
Yeah.
So, Paredes, in my mind, Sam, he needs to be a key player next year. This was a big deal. Morel, Hunter Biggie, who we mentioned on Friday's show, he hasn't allowed a single run yet in Tampa.
Trevor Hoffman, Biggie.
Yeah, he needs to be a key cog to whatever wheel this club's going to run next year.
What was that?
He's signed through 27. He's only 25. I think you could pencil him in the 5 or 6 spot in the order and obviously at third. What's interesting about him, I say obviously at third, but actually, if you wanted to just cover your bases,
literally,
baseball pun not intended, you could move him to first, Bush to second, and then go get a third baseman if you want.
Wow, you're really.
Or you could put Shaw there. But there's a lot of different combos that you can do if you want to get better. More than I think that I even realized. And more than I realized even if Bellinger opts in, which Bob Nightingale reported Sunday that he's likely to do.
Really?
That was the other thing. Little off-air discussion on the air. That's something I want to break down this week as well, in addition to Michael Bush heating up. But and also my other note on this, Sam, was I think for the rest of the year, again, only 13 games, I'd like to see Paredes 5, which he has been, but PCA 6. I'd
like to see PCA 1. That's what I'd like to see.
That's fine. Of course, Sut in the last one of the last things he said on the broadcast was PCA he asked Boog. Yeah. He gave Boog a chance. Who would you bat leadoff March 2025? And of course, Boog, the mathematician, said Ian Happ. Yeah. And Sut said no, PCA.
I think next year when all the dust settles and we get to June and we start to get to summertime and all that good stuff, I think the infield next year is going to be Paredes at third, Swanson at short, Shaw at second, Michael Bush at first.
Wow. Okay. At PCA 1, Shaw 2 would be fun.
That'd be fun. I think you're going to see PCA in center. I'm not so sure with the Bellinger situation because if Bellinger opts in, the Cubs got to do something to shake this up. Right. As much as I love Matt Shaw, I don't know if just him is going to be enough. But we're getting off topic here, and okay. I'm glad that Isaac Paredes is starting to hit. And I said it's
encouraging
when we broke down that trade, it really. Now you can make the case that because the Cubs are probably going to finish around 82 to 84 Ws, and they've had a couple tough losses. You can make the case if he hit like the guy he hit when the Cubs, early in the year, maybe the Cubs would be a couple games better. But really, this deal was about 25 and beyond. So, next year will really be the determinant factor. I actually saw Christopher Morel today get a pinch hit. Believe it or not, I believe it was a pinch hit. AB against who? Emmanuel Clase. And that went about exactly as you predicted. You ready for it? Hooah! Hooah! Strike three called in the inside corner is a 102-mile-an-hour cutter.
Yikes. Coming up next, we getting ahead of myself. We recap all 3 games of Cubs Rockies.
You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel. It's America's #1 sports book. And we've got something a little different for you now through September 22nd. That's felt like such a long way away. It's not anymore.
Right.
It's next week. All FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with a YouTube TV-based plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. There was a lot of good ones today, folks. I was focused on fantasy baseball, but the Ravens got beat. The Lions got beat. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment. You can cancel anytime. We're about 2 hours from kickoff in Houston. I believe the Bears are a 6.5-point underdog.
They still are, yeah.
Appropriately so in Houston. I will not be touching that, but I think Caleb Williams will get a few passing yards, which would be nice to see. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to download America's not #2, #1 sportsbook.
Cubs play the A's at 6:40 p.m. Central Monday. You can hear every pitch of the Cubs' hometown broadcast in Sirius XM by searching Cubs on the SXM app. Cubs lost 2 out of 3 to the Rockies over the weekend. 9-5 loss Friday, 6-5 loss Saturday, and 6-2 win Sunday. Michael Busch hit a 3-run homer Friday to tie it 5-5 after the Cubs trailed most of the game. But Nate Pearson gave it right back, allowing a grand slam the next half. And then on Saturday, the Cubs led the entire game until the Rockies were down to their final strike, literally, and Porter Hodge allowed a walk and then a 2-run homer to tie it 5-5. Cubs later lost in the 10th inning. Busch did go 6 for 9 this weekend, 11 for 25 on the trip, 3 homers, 7 runs batted in. That was just on the weekend, and that was really nice to see. Assad, Tyone, and Hendricks all went 6 innings, did pretty well, but the bullpen got touched up for 10 runs over the 3 games. Sam, where do you want to start here?
I want to start by saying that this was probably the first weekend I didn't really have much emotion watching this ball club. What stuck out.
Yeah, eventually I want you to take your Saturday night tweet to air. You could do that whenever you want.
Oh, on today's show?
Yeah.
Sure. I'm not really sure the one you're talking about, but I think I know.
Right after the final out.
Yeah. So so Friday night's game, Cubs left too many guys on. Two on, no out, over and over again. You got to score more than 5 typically at this arcade park. How many times have we talked about it in this show? It's hard to win here. It just is.
Yep.
It's nothing to do with the other team. It's just hard to win here. Great swing from Busch. Smiley comes on, lets it up, and then Pearson just makes a ridiculous pitch to Hunter Goodman, a ridiculous mistake that can't happen. What stuck out to me this weekend, and I'm going to tell a quick story, is that the bullpen just still is not close to being playoff ready. And, Porter Hodge had an off night. It happens. He walked the guy at Coors Field, gave up a Coors Field home run. But it just seems like even on Sunday, guys like Nate Pearson, who I like, Keegan Thompson, they're all just projects. They're throw things at the wall and see if it sticks type of thing. And the Cubs have shown that sometimes that'll work. But, guys like Biggie, guys like Estrada, guys like Jason Adam, they get away. And it just seems like the plan with the bullpen is let's hope we find a guy. And they might have done so with Porter Hodge. Saturday night doesn't change that whatsoever. But you just watch, even on Sunday, another kind of, maybe it's a meltdown strong, but it was a really bad effort from Keegan Thompson late, just walking guys. It just seems like with this group, it's so up and down with the pen. And next year, they really got to figure out a way to stabilize that early. Nobody's saying it has to be great, but it can't be, 20-something blown saves bad. And that's what stuck out to me. And on Saturday night, I was very involved in this series, not emotionally, but for my fantasy team, because I have 3 Cubs, I have 2 Rockies, and I lost a complete heartbreaker. I lost the fantasy championship essentially by like 1 RBI and 1 run. I'm devastated, and I don't know if I'll be able to come back from it. But I was watching the game, and then once Hodge got the second out, it was about 9:30 p.m. Central Standard, something along those lines. I went downstairs to go to a friend's house to go watch the fights. There was some combat action last night. And I figured the Cubs had won. And I got in my car to turn on what I was expecting Zaidman to get on postgame. And I still hear the game. And I hear the Cubs are coming up to hit. And I said, did they actually lose this? They blew this lead? And that's what happened. And you know what I did, Matt? I just laughed. On my car ride. I just laughed. I got to Anthony's and I walked in and we just kind of laughed, and that's just kind of the nature of the season. I thought Saturday of the season, yeah. I thought Saturday in a vacuum was one of the worst losses of the campaign, but it doesn't matter as much anymore. I mean,
no, it doesn't. It just doesn't.
How many final out, like 1 out away losses do they have this year? They had 1 in Arizona.
Well, they got 2 quick outs, and it was a 1-2 count
to a bad hitter,
and they lost.
Well, Hunter Goodman basically was Manny Ramirez this weekend.
Yeah, that's a good comp. I enjoyed watching Manny play,
but there was some really good stuff this weekend. I mean, how could you not just love watching this kid play center field for the Cubs, man?
Oh, such a joy.
He went straight away center and oppo. I mean, there's real life power there. Right. If he could figure out a way to just to just recognize pitches just a little bit better without taking away his aggression, this is a superstar.
Wow.
I mean, he is. Yeah. He's got everything. I'm a little bit upset, and again, fantasy baseball, I lost by 1 steal as well, and I have him. I don't know why he's not stealing bases with more aggression lately. He's been kind of like
he's dialed it down.
Yeah, he's been a little bit, I would say, just like a little bit weird on the bases. But man, is he something to watch hit? And your trade partner Suzuki continues to rack up hits and walks, and thought Ian Happ hit a grand slam today, but that ball got caught.
Well, it would have been anywhere else.
Yeah, right.
All right. Cubs are – so what I wanted to follow up on was, hopefully Hodge learned a lesson.
Yeah.
Could take it into next year. But, even – I got a couple things that I read over the weekend about – bad loss, sickening, disgusting. It's like, right. Well, not anymore. But
no.
They still have 13 games left. Only 3 on the road, by the way. They're 76 and 73. So the math puts them on pace for 83 wins.
Yep.
But with 13 left, that would mean a 7-6 record. And I don't know if I would view that as a quote unquote good finish.
No,
but does that matter? Like, what do you think about these final 13? Are you looking at W's and L's, or is it more performance based?
I think it's performance based. I think it's like a pride thing. Like I think if they get to like 86 wins, at least you could say, well, hey, they improved, or whatever. But it really doesn't matter if you're not going to make the postseason. What I tweeted out yesterday, this is quote Sam Olber at Sam Olber. You can follow. Don't ruin your night.
Right.
It doesn't matter for the standings. Good lesson for Porter. The walk is so dangerous there. PCA had a nice game. Bellinger value continues to rise. 2025 is all that matters. 318.
That's great. No, and I'm doing it right now. I'm trying to map out some of the 2025 plans and what they could do. And
you want to know something?
I do wonder if 2 weeks from today we'll feel relieved or not. It would be an unfortunate feeling because I love baseball and I love the Cubs.
Yeah, I know what you mean, though.
Yeah.
It's been stressful. It's been difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been like Saturday night. Like, I'm just numb to these now. You know what? I'd like to make an announcement though, positively, and I don't know why I have such a positive tone in my voice. I'm very unhappy right now.
Because of fantasy.
Yeah, of course. Work.
Okay.
Some other stuff.
Cubs.
My mouth hasn't been healthy, folks. I don't know if you remember. I got my wisdom tooth pulled about a month plus ago. My mouth is still not. Avoid that stuff if you can. Or get it done at an early age. This year, on my birthday, November 2nd, I am going to buy myself a gift. And that gift, I do not own a white Cubs pinstripe jersey.
Oh, man.
I have plenty of jerseys. I have plenty of Cubs gear, but I don't own a jersey. The last, I believe, white Cubs pinstripe jersey I had was a Starlin Castro a long time ago. I'm going to buy a white Cubs pinstripes authentic Pete Crow-Armstrong jersey for myself on my birthday this year.
It's a bad take.
No, I think that's good. That's good.
He is the first guy I believe.
That excites me that you announced that.
Yeah, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to wear it a lot.
Well, we'll do a jersey episode then. What Cubs jersey would you buy right now?
Well, you know what's funny? I thought of you last night. I actually went to my buddy Anthony's parents' house to watch the fights, and I got
to start drinking more water again. Go ahead.
And Anthony's dad was wearing a Suzuki jersey.
What?
Yeah, and I thought of you because I feel like you would have made a comment on that.
Yes. Well, I would have said future Mariner. No. All right, coming up next.
Great. Let's preview the Cubs A.
Yeah, Cubs A. Cubs A.
Let's preview that. Let's go to that game for $1.
Stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on Prize Picks, it's just you and the numbers. All you do is pick more or less and 2 to 6 player stats and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today. And you can now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few clicks of a button. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And right now, one Caleb Williams passing yard gets you 1 win on Prize Picks every week this month. That's right. Only 1 yard gets you an automatic W every football weekend in September. Don't miss this deal on Prize Picks because it's gone when September ends. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, run your game. Cubs begin a 3-game series with the A's at 6:40 Monday. Tuesday's also at 6:40. Wednesday at 1:20. Cubs are home all 7 games this weekend with a 4-gamer against the Nationals after this. Imanaga and Estes, Wicks and Spence, Assad and Basso, all 3 starters for the A's have been solid their last 3 starts, including Basso, who hasn't allowed a run in 11 1/3 innings since getting called up earlier this month. The A's are 65 85 and fresh off a series loss to the White Sox on the other side of town. I meant to put in my notes too, Sam. They have a couple hitters, Lawrence
stars,
Parker and Brent Rooker.
Well, Brent Rooker's having a star season.
Yeah, so they've had their moments this year.
Yeah, they haven't been as bad as a lot of people thought they'd be. Brent Rooker's batting over 300 with 37 home runs and 107 driven.
Wow.
So just off the top of my head.
Could the Cubs get him for a king's ransom this winter?
Just off the top of my head, when you think about the American League, you have Judge and Bobby Witt are going to finish top 2 in the MVP. Maybe Jose Ramirez is 3rd, but this young man will be in the top 5 in MVP voting. Is there any doubt about it?
I think he'll be top 5 for sure, yeah.
I mean, this is the type of season.
Good for him. That's cool.
outside of Chris Bryant, I mean, this is the type of season. 301, 37, 105, and 950 plus OPS. I mean, come on.
Right.
I think the weather's supposed to be decent this week.
It's supposed to be in the 80s all week.
Oh, so you're gonna see offense.
Not even hit 90 one of the days.
Oh, you're gonna see offense at Wrigley then.
For the first time all year.
The Cubs should win this series relatively easily. I expect them to do so. I forgot to shout out. I thought the starting pitching in chorus was pretty darn good this weekend. Assad battled through.
Well, it was.
Tyone was really good. He got some great defense by him. And Kyle Hendricks on Sunday. We didn't even talk about Kyle Hendricks. I mean, what an outing. I mean, when I saw Kyle Hendricks at Coors, I lit up for fantasy purposes, and he just dominated my guys. They didn't even have a chance. I mean,
6 innings, 1 run.
The top 4 guys in the order didn't get a base hit. Hendricks went 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 7 Ks to lower his ERA to 6.25.
Right.
But can I ask you, what do you think is going to happen with Kyle Hendricks? And obviously, I don't think he's going to be a Cub, but do you think he pitches next year?
Ooh. I think so, yeah.
Me too.
If he wants to.
I think he should pitch I think he should just go to a big park. How about like Baltimore?
Right. Be the 5th or 6th starter.
The Orioles traded for Trevor Rogers. They can't go out and get Kyle Hendricks for $4 million.
No, absolutely. And I think on the last game of the year, so 2 weeks from today, they'll do something before the game.
Yeah, I think that's right. Last night I was having trouble sleeping. What else is new? And I was watching the 2016 ring ceremony.
Wow.
And it was really interesting, the different ovations. David Ross got the biggest ovation. And then it was like Rizzo and Hendricks. Wow. According to Bragg's Bigs, Bears wide receiver Keenan Allen will not play, but rookie sensation Rome Odunze will. It's 91 degrees in Houston. I think they're going to open the roof.
Thank you so much for checking out this edition of Locked On Cubs. You give us 20 to 30 minutes. We'll give you all things. Be sure to hit subscribe.
Bear down.
No, be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube as we make the push to 11,000 subs. Smash the like button for the algorithm and leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere.
Velas Jones is inactive.
Podcast. One more note. My dad, a personal best mile time in the race to Wrigley on Saturday.
Tell him congrats.
He was a sub 30 minutes for the race. What a career run for my dad. And I want to get a mini W flag so I can start doing this on the end of the
I think if I had to run the 5K, I'd have to be rushed to like the nearest, medical
facility.
Yeah.
All right, Cubs A's this week, and we'll be talking about season tickets, Bellinger, and
Bush.
a whole lot more. That's right. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.